Good morning, everybody. So today we're just going to be looking at some top cybersecurity infosec news. So we have today, and we're just reading them for the first time. We have today API security in peril as 83% of firms suffer incidents. So security experts have warned of the soaring cost of and volume of API security incidents after revealing that 83% of UK organizations were impacted over the past 12 months. Akamai pulled 404 UK CIOs, CISOs, and other security professionals between June and July 2024 to help compile its API Security Impact Study 2024. So while these C-suite security executives must be going crazy, right? Not going crazy, but they must be like really on edge. It recorded a 14 percentage point annual increase in UK respondents claiming to have experienced at least one API security incident over the previous 12 months. For US respondents, the figure actually dropped 2 percentage points. In the UK, each incident cost over €420,000 in repairs, downtime, legal fees, fines, and other charges, significantly more than the equivalent figure in Germany, which is €335,000. Worryingly, the share of UK critical infrastructure organizations claiming to have suffered API security incidents over the past 80 years was even higher. It stood at 94% for the country's public sector, 92% for financial services, and 90% for healthcare, according to Akamai. However, at the other end of the spectrum was the retail e-commerce sector, where just 68% of respondents reported incidents. It's no coincidence that they were also more likely than any other to cite API security as a top priority. API security has yet to become a key element in a comprehensive security strategy, said Richard Meese, Director of Security, Technology and Strategy EMA at Akamai. Organizations mostly treat API threats as emerging, when the attack data as well as the financial impact and stress on security teams shows they keep growing. Nearly a third, 31% of UK respondents claimed API security incidents led to increased stress, the report found. Among the potential causes of the UK's poor performance are a lack of testing and visibility. The share of respondents claiming to test APIs in real time fell from 18% in last year's report to 13%, while only 29% of enterprises with full API inventory said they know which APIs return sensitive data, down from 40% in 2023. API threats on the rise. The study chimes somewhat with other reports highlighting the growing threat to APIs. A report out in March 2023 claimed that API attacks increased 400% in the previous 6 months. Data on 37 million T-Mobile customers in the U.S. was stolen in late 2022 due to unauthorized access through a single API. Among the main risks to API are unintended exposure vulnerabilities and misconfigurations, lack of authentication, and misfiring security tools, according to the Akamai report. The security vendor recommended that organizations enhance visibility and discovery by undertaking a full inventory of the entire API estate and associated microservices, invest in pre and post production testing, audit APIs for misconfiguration and undertake full documentation, use runtime detection to highlight abnormal activity, respond to suspicious behavior by integrating API security with other security tools, proactively investigate and hunt for threats. Okay, so you got to be careful what APIs you're using because apparently it's been a major reason why UK firms have been suffering security incidents. Okay, moving on, we have AI threat to escalate in 2025. Google Cloud warns. So Google Cloud is sending out a warning. Researchers at Google Cloud believe that AI threat will worsen in 2025 despite not having had the catastrophic impact some analysts initially predicted. In its cybersecurity forecast 2025, the tech giant anticipates that successful malicious use of AI observed in 2024 will continue and new sophisticated uses will emerge. Malicious actors will continue to use AI and large language models to develop and scale sophisticated social engineering schemes, including phishing campaigns. Google Cloud analysts also forecast that cyber espionage actors and cyber criminals will continue to leverage deepfakes for identity fraud, theft, and bypassing know your customer security requirements. During the report launch event in London, attended by InfoSecurity on November 12th, Stuart McKinsey, Managing Director of Mandiant Consulting EMEA at Google Cloud, said AI will play a massive part of overall cyber threats in 2025. From malicious AI prototypes to large-scale AI adoption, in addition to the malicious use of AI already observed, the authors of the report believe that in 2025 some anticipated misuses of AI that have not materialized to date could do so. Jamie Collier, led threat intelligence advisor for Europe at Google Cloud, said using LLMs for malware development and malicious open source LLMs is still anecdotal, but will likely take off next year. He also expects more AI experiments to supercharge malicious actors' capabilities, including vulnerability research, code development, and reconnaissance. 2025 is the year when AI moves from pilots and prototypes into large scale adoption. Finally, the analysts anticipate large scale use of generative AI, including generative adversarial networks, LLMs, and deepfake technologies to power information operations, including information manipulation on social media, astroturfing, and global disinformation campaigns. Phil Venables, VP of Threat Intelligence, Security, and CISO at Google Cloud, concluded on AI 2025 is the year when AI moves from pilots to and prototypes into large scale adoption. Okay, so expected cyber threat activity from the big four. So they're now going to move into talking about, it looks like, geopolitics in AI. Russia shifts to the Ukrainian front line. In 2025, Google Cloud experts expects the Ukraine conflict to remain primarily focused on Russian cyber espionage. Collier said Google Cloud had seen Russian hacking groups moving away from targeting civilians in Ukraine and Europe with wiper malware, for instance. Most of these groups' current main targets are now on the front line. Most Russian threat actors, including those linked to Russia's Federal Security Service and Russia's Military Intelligence Service, which is FSB and GRU, now have a direct focus on the Ukrainian front lines. They target critical military infrastructure on the front line, including GPS systems and mobile devices. One example is APT-44, which has recently shown its capacity to extract data from dead Ukrainian soldiers' phones while they're still connected. That's wild. Talk about like hacking at the most extreme. It's really sad to even hear that. That they, it's sad. Collier added that only groups associated with Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service will probably continue targeting entities outside the front lines. North Korea IT workers going global. North Korean hacking group's most notable recent strategy is to try to get recruited as IT workers by Western organizations, especially tech companies. Although the story of the North Korean IT workers applying to be hired by Western companies sounds a little far-fetched, half of the tech companies I talked to have experienced it, McKinsey said. This trend is likely to continue and even expand in 2025 to the report. Although it started in the U.S., we have recently seen them expand to Europe, partly because of indictments from the U.S. Department of Justice. Yeah, they don't want the DOJ coming after them. He added that Google Cloud is also seeing an increasing overlap between North Koreans using this tactic to earn money for the Pyongyang regime, as well as those doing it for cyber espionage purposes. This overlap will likely continue because many of those North Korean cyber espionage groups must at least generate revenue to keep running their own operations. China, more of the same stealthy tactics. Google Cloud anticipates that institutional investments China has made in its cyber threat operators over the last decade will continue to fuel the volume of threat activity and capability development in 2025. This includes pre-positioning campaigns targeting internet-exposed attack surfaces, such as end-of-life devices compromising operational relay box networks to obscure operator traffic to and from the target environment, and exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities. By using these stealthy tactics, Chinese malicious actors are depriving defenders of the traditional detection opportunities they usually have. The Google Cloud analysts also expect Chinese hackers to continue to deploy custom malware, enabling them to achieve stealthy backdoor access into environments such as Trojanizing legitimate services to listen to for attacker connections. Iran-Israel-Hamas conflict drives cyber threat activity. Google expects that the Israel-Hamas conflict will likely continue to dominate Iranian state-sponsored threat activity. However, this focus will not prevent Iranian threat actors from continuing operations consistent with long-term patterns, including targeting government and telecommunications organizations across the Middle East and North Africa, or dabbling in cybercrime. Cool. All right. So let's move on to the Lazarus group, because the Lazarus group is extending its attributes for code smuggling in macOS. I think the Lazarus group has something to do with, this was a North Korean hacker team, but let me not give them too much credit. Advanced persistent threat. Let's see where they're from, actually. Yeah, North Korean threat actor. So like I thought. A new technique by the Lazarus Advanced Persistent Threat Group has been used by the threat actor to smuggle malicious code onto Mac OS systems using custom extended attributes. This innovative method, obscured by Group IB, bypasses traditional security measures, enabling malicious code to remain concealed and undetected. Extended attributes, often used to store additional file metadata, are now being leveraged by Lazarus to hide and execute malware on targeted systems. Evolution of malware concealment. The group's recent malware samples suggest they are experimenting with extended attributes to avoid detection, much like a previous technique used in 2020, where Bundlelore adware concealed its payload in resource forks. However, Lazarus's new approach takes advantage of extended attributes, which are more versatile in modern Mac OS systems. Among the Lazarus developed malware it discovered was Rusty ATTR, a Trojan crafted using the Tauri framework. Tauri allows developers to build applications that blend a web front end with a Rust backend, which has the potential to run stealthily on Mac OS. By hiding malicious code within extended attributes and then executing it using Tauri's built-in interface commands, Lazarus circumvents many antivirus protections. Notably, this malware remains fully undetected on VirusTotal. Deceptive tactics and user distraction. So the research also found that Lazarus' malware includes various decoy elements such as PDFs related to project development on crypto or cryptocurrency and fake system messages. The decoys are intended to mislead users while the malware executes in the background, fetching additional malicious scripts from command and control servers associated with Lazarus since 2024. Some files even referenced previous Lazarus campaigns like the Rust Bucket malware. Okay. So that's the news for today, and I'm going to pack up because I have to start heading out. Thanks, everybody.